Now, before you say anything, yes, I know, we just built for these guys, and yeah, I hope you guys are fine with Asian small-clawed otter habitats, because that's what you're getting. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Hope Harbor Zoo. Hope you all are having the most wonderful of wonderful days so far. And yeah, essentially today we're going to be working on the Asian small-clawed otter habitat. Now, previously, we did build for these guys. We kind of chucked them into the South America house, kind of hoping that they'd be used for, giant otters later in the future. But as it stands right now, that project is kind of defunct. So we're kind of working on this over here. So essentially, what I really wanted to do was have this nice, relatively low-key area for the otters. Just very much based off of some pictures I saw in Zoo Chat. I'm sorry I could not tell you for the life of me what actual zoos they were from. I think they were from, like, some island or something. Maybe, like the Canary Islands. I don't really know. Either way, I'm working on an Asian small-clawed otter habitat. And, yeah, it's just right next to the flamingos, right next to the cafe. It's just a very nice welcoming animal, especially with how much people love otters. Like, have you guys noticed that? Like, there's such a huge, like, push for otters recently. And I don't know, I feel like they were never really that popular before, but as of late, like, in the last few years, people have been, like, going over the wall for them. And it's just so, like, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing animals get, like, the spotlight. But it's just so weird because they never got the spotlight before. They were always just kind of like there. I guess it's just because they're just kind of personable animals either way. Maybe I'm just being a boomer. Maybe I'm just a little bit upset that people don't appreciate bilbies as much. But hey, moving on from there. You can see what I'm kind of doing over here. One of my favorite things to do is just pop in all the water area at first, then kind of build off of that with faux rocks. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea to do it that way. I know people like the natural area in there and like the natural landscape. But for the purposes of this building, I really wasn't really feeling that. So again, I'm kind of doing big chunk of water in there. I have the backstage, all set up kind of like, however I do. But I'm kind of working with all of that right there. Also, I forgot to add a little bit of trim on there, so I do work that in there. But I essentially plop down one big cube of water, and I kind of just build faux rocks off of that. That's essentially how I do it. It's completely functional, which is pretty awesome. Unfortunately, the otters do not deep dive, which is extremely sad. I don't think I've seen them deep dive in really too many of my own builds, which is kind of sad because I love seeing them do that, but they don't deep dive in, 2-meter deep water for some reason, which, why? They should be able to dive in 1 meter deep water. Either way, I don't know. It's just it perturbs me. Either way, we're working on the backstage holding for these guys, and one of the things I wanted to include were a couple of windows in here, just a way to have the building have a little bit more character and bring in a little bit more natural light into their indoor holding. So we're kind of working on that over there, and I have this big area kind of set up for the indoor area. Maybe I should kind of expand it a little bit more because it is quite a large area. I was kind of hoping to connect it with the rest of the welcome area, just as a way for keepers to kind of access it a little bit easier. Maybe kind of cut down on electricity, whatnot. But hey, what can you do? Making our way throughout here and also adding that initial land area, not initial land area, but also adding that plaster bottom, because do keep in mind this is something that zoos do all the time. They don't really do mud and ground and dirt down below. They always opt for using a lot more concrete examples. That was completely unintentional, but having stuff that can fit a lot more in place and a lot more cleanable. And for that case, we're using plaster down here. A lot of the times, it's very much a health risk when you do have a lot of gunk and grime down there. So keepers would be able to drain the pool in this case, and be able to go in, kind of hose it down a little bit, try and scrub out all the muck and grime, as a way to help keep the animals a lot safer, as well as people too. A lot of the times, improperly cared for habitats can even, they might even have the risk of infecting people as well, which is quite sad. But listen, Hope Harbor Zoo is dedicating their entire lives to really making sure that our animals are happy, and our guests are happy, and our staff are happy, and everyone is just happy, you know? But making our way throughout here and adding some trim to these windows. Again, this is something I really want to do throughout this series, is have not really fake windows anywhere. I can have them in some places, but I always want to make sure that you're able to see into where areas are and decorate those areas on the inside. But for the time being, I set up the windows and I kind of put like a black cloth in front of it, just as a way to kind of be like, yeah, maybe later down the line I could actually build in there. But what I'm adding over here are just some small areas for gravel to be, because keep in mind the water may kind of splash up off of the fence, so I do need a little bit of a place for it to kind of reside in, so that little gravel right over there would be kind of implied to have areas like that. Now making our way throughout here and adding a little bit more fencing to this area, trying to make sure that it feels a little bit more secure in the surrounding environment, so we do work a little bit with that. And we do kind of use some marquee beams, like the little edges of them, just the tip of them, just a way to have it feel a little bit more secure. And yeah, I really do like this. I'm so excited to see it. Initially, I was like, you know what, I'm too lazy, guys. I don't want to do anything with, like, you know, curves, so I'm gonna throw some faux rock in here. But it looks like crap. It really did look like crap. So I go back in and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put on my big boy pants, I'm gonna put on my Bro Nation pants, and I'm just gonna go through and do custom curbing for, you know, the curved side. Curbs for the curved. That sounds like a new initiative put out by, like, some charity organization. I don't know what it'd be for, but hey, it's there. I'll take all royalties for that. Thank you very much. But making our way throughout here and adding the natural kind of landscape of this, because I didn't want it to be all faux rock. I wanted them to have a lot of dirt and a lot of, like, natural, you know, elements that they would have in, like, you know, Southeast Asia and stuff. So I do add some, like, of those mulch panels. I also do add a little bit of muck and grime to the bottom of the pool, just as a way to have it feel a little bit more like, you know, have it feel a little bit more organic, have it feel a little bit more realistic. So we do a lot of that jazz over there, and I want to have a tree, so I'm using the fever tree from the what's that, the foliage pack, like the palm pack, so I'm using that over there. And I'm also adding a lot more naturalistic environment elements, kind of like dead leaves and stuff. That's a great little enrichment item for, like, the otters over there, and adding some to the bottom of the pool, just as a way to have it feel a little bit more naturalistic, have it feel like it's really telling a story. And also adding these vents, because again, you got to make sure that you're able to drain the pool and whatnot. And also adding a little bit of a log over there so that the otters can actually access both sides, even though they can't already. And adding some tiny plants here and there, just a way to have it feel a little bit more organic. Adding some branches, some logs and stuff like that. We add a few, like, tiny little branches on the bottom of the pool. Adding some enrichment, and adding all the tiny little features in here. I also want to have a little bit of a water spout, spigot kind of thing over here, to kind of give them a little bit of a waterfall. That's something I really want to have in all these habitats. It's just kinetic elements, just a way to have them feel a little bit more naturalistic and stuff. I don't know, I'm very excited to see how all that turns out. But just adding that jazz right there and having it feel pretty nice. I don't know, I just really do like it. It turned out so nice. I don't know, I really do like it. So it would essentially give the otters a little bit more flow in the water. So they would have a little bit more currents to play with, a little bit more, you know, interactivity with their habitat. Also, I apologize, I really wasn't able to capture the full speed build. I was kind of building off camera, but I hope you guys forgive me for that, because check out this beautiful cinematic work. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all in the next episode of Hope Harbor Zoo. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye-bye now.